Power can lift you to the heavens or drag you into the abyss. But what happens when the price of that power is your soul? This is the story of Light Yagami, a man who sought to change the world and instead became its greatest tragedy. A story of pain, suffering, and the crushing weight of ambition. Welcome back, wanderers of the shadows. Today we descend into the heart of Death Note, a tale not just of power and strategy, but of the human condition itself. This is a story that asks, how much are you willing to lose to gain everything? And when the cost is too high, will you even notice? Death Note is more than a battle of wits. It's a mirror held up to humanity, reflecting our darkest desires, our deepest fears, and the price we pay for playing God. Light Yagami begins as a prodigy, a young man burdened by the world's injustice. He sees the corruption, the suffering, and the apathy of those in power, and it fills him with a quiet rage. When the Death Note falls into his hands, it feels like destiny. But destiny is a double-edged sword. Every name he writes is a life extinguished, a soul weighed against his vision of a perfect world. At first it feels righteous. He's eliminating criminals after all. But with each death, something in Light dies too. The weight of his actions begins to crack his humanity, and the pain of his choices seeps into his soul. He tells himself it's for the greater good, but the greater good is a heavy burden to bear. And as the bodies pile up, so does the question, is he saving the world or destroying himself? Light's vision of justice is a utopia built on bloodshed. But can a perfect world exist when its foundation is pain and suffering? Or is it just another form of tyranny disguised as salvation? Enter L, the genius detective who becomes Light's greatest adversary. Their battle is a dance of minds, a clash of ideologies, but beneath the brilliance lies a deeper truth. Both are prisoners of their own pain. L is a man who has sacrificed everything for justice. He lives in the shadows, isolated and tormented, his only companions the puzzles he solves. And Light, in his quest for godhood, has become a prisoner of his own lies. Their struggle is not just a game of wits, it's a reflection of the suffering that comes with power. L knows the cost of his obsession, but he presses on, driven by a sense of duty. Light, on the other hand, has lost sight of his humanity. In their battle, we see the duality of power, the burden of responsibility and the corruption of ambition. L fights to protect the world, even as it breaks him. Light fights to control it, even as it consumes him. And in the end, neither can escape the cost. As Light's power grows, so does his isolation. He pushes away everyone who cares for him, his family, his friends, even Misa, who loves him unconditionally. Each betrayal, each loss, chips away at what little humanity he has left. His father, a man of unwavering integrity, dies believing his son is a monster. Misa, who gave everything for Light, is left broken and empty. By the end, Light is no longer a man. He's a monster, consumed by his own ambition. His vision of justice has become a twisted parody, a world where he alone decides who lives and who dies. His death is not just the end of a tyrant, it's the culmination of a life defined by pain and suffering. Death Note forces us to confront the truth. Power doesn't just corrupt, it destroys. And in the end, Light is not a god, he's a cautionary tale. Death Note leaves us with a haunting question. What is the true cost of power? Light's journey is a descent into darkness, but it's also a reflection of our own potential for destruction. His legacy is not a perfect world, but a broken one. The pain he caused, the suffering he inflicted, and the lives he destroyed are a reminder that power without morality is a path to ruin. In the end, Death Note is not just a story about a notebook, it's a story about us, our desires, our fears, and the choices we make in the face of power. And it asks us, what would we do if we held the power of life and death in our hands? And would we be strong enough to resist the darkness? Light's story is not just about the pursuit of power, it's about the consequences of playing God. When he first picks up the Death Note, he sees himself as a savior, a divine force tasked with cleansing the world. But the moment he decides who lives and who dies, he steps into a role no mortal can sustain. playing God comes with a price. It's not just the lives he takes, but the ripple effects of his actions. Every name he writes in the death note sends shockwaves through the world. Families torn apart, societies destabilized, and a growing sense of fear and paranoia. Light believes he's creating order, but what he's really creating is chaos. By taking justice into his own hands, he undermines the very systems that hold society together. He becomes a tyrant, ruling through fear rather than fairness. But the most devastating consequence is the loss of his humanity. To play God is to distance yourself from the very thing that makes you human: empathy, compassion, and the ability to see others as equals. Light's transformation into Kira is not just a rise to power, it's a fall from grace. In the end, Light's downfall is not just a result of L's brilliance or his own mistakes, it's the inevitable consequence of trying to wield power that no one person should ever possess. Death Note reminds us that the desire to play God is not just dangerous, it's inherently self-destructive. Light Yagami's story is a warning. The moment we believe we are gods, we lose everything that makes us human. Was Light a hero, a villain, or a victim of his own ambition? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're ready to explore more stories of pain, power, and the human condition, don't forget to subscribe for more insight and embrace the shadows. Until next time, remember, in the pursuit of power, the greatest cost is often the one we don't see coming. Stay vigilant, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video.